My name is Tina. About a year and a half ago, our family bought 140 acres off the grid in Australia, and we call it Chimney Creek Farm. And this is our second Christmas on our property. I've had most of these old Christmas decorations for about 15 to 20 years. I wanted to share some images of our Christmas with you and also talk about what Christmas means to me. What is Christmas all about? Some say Christmas is about religion, but that is not for me. Some people say Christmas is about the joy of giving. Giving time, giving thoughts, giving a helpful hand, giving gifts, giving donations, and giving love. And some people hate Christmas in this time of year because of its commercial nature and the focus on buying things. I get that, but I am no Christmas Grinch. I even got my nails painted red for Christmas this year. When I was very young, our family didn't have a lot of money, but Christmas was definitely one of my favourite times of year. Obviously, in Australia, we have summer at Christmas time. So we have the summer school holidays and the beach days in the sun. And my mother used to spread the excitement and magic of Santa Claus in the weeks leading up to Christmas Day by decorating the house, complete with scenes of reindeers and sleighs filled with presents, and the house filled with the sounds of old school Christmas songs. And in my childhood, we didn't usually get a lot of treats, but at Christmas time, my mum had the red and green cordial and the chocolate-covered nuts. They were placed on the Christmas-themed tablecloth. And the lollies and the chips, the foods that we didn't normally have. I remember the twinkling lights on the Christmas tree, reflecting on the television screen while an old Christmas movie played. And the growing pile of Christmas presents under the tree brought such a sweet feeling of happiness for me every year. I swear I could hear those Christmas sleigh bells as clear as day in the night sky on Christmas Eve. And these are the kinds of traditions that I've tried to pass along to our children as well. On Christmas Eve, I like to light a candle to remember those loved ones that cannot be here with us at Christmas time. And as some of you might know, our daughter died 7 years ago, and Christmases were hard for me for a while. At least the sorrow doesn't bring me way down now. And it's also become a tradition on Christmas Eve now to watch the Polar Express. It feels like even the morning songbirds know that it's Christmas today. I remember when I was a kid, I couldn't wait for the sun to come up on Christmas Day so that I could sneak out and have a look at the presents. Our rescue puppy, Truffles, is the first one to get dressed up for the occasion.
What you doing, puppy? What you doing? What you doing?
Needless to say, that Santa head didn't last very long. And this Christmas, we started the day off with some mascarpone cheese pancakes with blueberries. And it does look a bit like white dog poo, but it tastes amazing. And Paul has been voluntold that it's his job to do the breakfast, only to discover we don't have a whisk. Paul seems so happy with himself. He thinks his invention is ingenious. And the pancakes were delicious and everyone had seconds. And someone's already tuckered out and it's only morning tea. Our broker and good friend Melinda Sherrard from Regional Finance Solutions sent us this Christmas present. They are baubles for the Christmas tree, and this one's for our daughter Willow that died. So thoughtful, an amazing gift. And there's one for Eli. And this one's mine. It's a little bit hard to see my name in here, but it is in there. I started a tradition of putting a new bauble with Willow's name on it and the age she would have been. And we have received another bauble from Paul's mum in the past as well. And there's Paul's one. And this Christmas we decided to make a picnic lunch and take it down to our favourite swimming spot down at the river. And we passed some wild goats crossing the road. Merry Christmas, goats. It's meant to be the wet season here at the moment, but it's actually really dry. Merry Christmas, cows. I often see families in their matchy outfits with the perfect photo on Christmas Day, so I thought we might attempt it, and we gave the kids these outfits and we bought some for ourselves to match. But we never got a perfect shot because our family is just a little bit chaotic, too chaotic for a nice Christmas photo.
People come down and fish.
Can I take this off? Can I take it off? Yes? I'm taking it.
Obviously, Nathaniel was super impressed with his matching outfit. Mum looks like she's got the best spot here. Paul's found a relaxing spot. All of the tops are actually rashies and also the bottoms are all board shorts, so they're all made out of swimming material.
Are you waiting for me to have an accident?
You wanted some bloopers.
I've got a crevice!
Nathaniel enjoys moving through the rapids over the little mini waterfalls.
Oh no! Yeah, lay back.
Let's see that again. Oh dear. Carrying a heavy dog down a slippery bank. Lesson learnt. Merry Christmas, fish. Look how big they are. Paul's lunchbox. No, just kidding. That's the leftovers of the whole family salad. Time to go home and start preparing dinner. Bye, cows. Paul washes the sand out of his shoes in the causeway. And we had some Christmas punch. This is my mum's old Christmas punch bowl. It's actually been used lots of times throughout my childhood. I even remember it being used on like my 12th birthday or something like that. And Paul and I ventured out of our comfort zones and tried some new cocktails that we'd never tried before. And our Christmas dinner was a lovely turkey roast that was stuffed, and it was delicious. We also had pavlova. And I also made trifle. When I was growing up, we had a very large extended family, and Christmas Day gatherings might have involved 100 family members because my mum had 10 brothers and sisters, and the tables were overflowing with lovingly prepared food. The dishes had taken days to prepare, and my mouth would water at the sight of them, especially the roast pork crackle. Special dishes that we would never really have throughout the year were served in abundance. My sister especially loved my grandmother's trifle pudding spiked with brandy, and also her grandma pie that she used to make. The smorgasbord was laid out, and we all took turns helping ourselves. Most of us went for seconds and thirds. It was so delicious. All of my grandparents were alive in those days. Only last year I lost the last one of them. But my grandparents managed to bring most of the family together to celebrate on that day, whether they liked each other or not. It was a huge event, such a festive occasion, the biggest party of the year for our family, complete with all the party hats, music and bonbons. Besides funerals and an occasional family reunion, this was the one day of the year that most of us would see each other. I'm just preparing this lamb roast here with some rosemary and garlic, and I noticed that Kathy from, I think it's Little Garden Big Dreams, also prepares her lamb a lot like this, but she did hers in the slow cooker and added some onion and lemon and things, I think, as well. But it was an awesome recipe, so if you want to check out her channel, I would encourage you to. She's lovely. I do all our baking and roasting in our barbecue because we don't have an oven here, so you might have already noticed that. One of Paul's Christmas presents was this thing that's spinning around that keeps the flies away. It does an awesome job. Because we're just in a shed with doors that roll up, we don't have any screens or anything. And Paul got this glass as a Secret Santa present, and it has down the bottom, it has, that's where you fill up for a good day, and you have a bad day about halfway up, and right at the top is don't ask. I'm going to use up all these old apples to make some apple pie. I remember being ecstatic about getting a rag doll from my grandmother, and also when I got a bike from my father and a gold watch from my uncle and aunt. And also watching my little sister's face light up as she excitedly unwrapped her presents on Christmas morning. It's amazing though, after 40 years, most of the time you can't remember who gave you what. You only really remember how you felt and who was kind to you. And as I got older, the magic of Santa was lost. Christmas became more about time to spend with family, and after finishing high school and going off to university, it became even more important to me to maintain those connections. And when my son was born, many years after university, the magic of Santa and Christmas returned as my son got old enough to understand the excitement of all of it. I continued some of the traditions from my family and added some of my own. And I always wanted my mother to be there to re-experience the magic of Christmas. Christmas used to represent all these things for me. I didn't want to let go of them. These days, our family lives far and wide apart across Australia, and for many reasons, sometimes they decide not to make the trip to spend time together. My son is getting older now, and he's almost finished high school. The magic and excitement of Santa left him a long time ago. And we should have our daughter with us this Christmas, who would have been 7 this year. And we probably would have been re-experiencing all the magic again through her. But this was not meant to be. I'm just adding this amazing caramelized onion jam to our bacon and egg burgers, and I'm also using gluten-free buns because my son has a bit of an allergy to wheat. But anyway, this onion jam is to die for. You can buy it from Make It Tenterfield in the main street of Tenterfield. I encourage you to go in there and check it out. It's a great little shop, and that's where we sell our Willow's Wonder soap. And I also meant to toast these buns, but it's sometimes a bit hard to have the toaster going because we have to start the generator to make the toaster work. And I had all the other gas burners going. I could have done it on the barbecue outside, but it's just a bit of a pain. But you realise when you have gluten-free bread or buns without being toasted that it doesn't taste that good. And to my apples and water, I'm just adding a bit of cinnamon. We get them from Enrich Yourself Herbs and Spices, which is Paul's auntie and uncle up on the Sunshine Coast, and they're great, they're fantastic. So if you need any dried herbs, go to them, and I'll put a link to them in down below. But all I need to add to my apples and water is a bit of cinnamon, and I add a little bit of our native bee honey, and that's all I need, and it tastes just like your store-bought apple pie. It's amazing. I normally put the pastry in a glass dish, which I sit on top of a baking pan inside the barbecue to heat up, and then I'll fill it with the apple filling, and then I'll put a sheet of pastry over the top and put it back in the barbecue to bake. It's amazing. So simple, a child could do it. I've added some Jarlsberg cheese, and I'm just cooking some eggs now for our bacon and egg burger. I make a few different versions or varieties of these kinds of burgers, and I'll show you a couple of those in a minute. We usually give our eggs to our chickens to eat, but we don't have chickens down here yet. But our dog also eats the eggshells, but the rest go into compost down here. And a bit of sliced tomato to go on the burgers so that I can call it a BLT. So Nissa from Our Small Footprint does a lot of great recipes off the grid for a family of 8 living in Australia. So if you're interested in how to cook off grid and different recipes, I would encourage you to look her up as well. She did an awesome trifle this year, which I might have a go at doing next year. Another Christmassy thing that I was super impressed with this year was a couple of other YouTubers, Diane from Diane and Samson and Robin from, I think it's called The Garden Patch. And they have a podcast together called Earthly Roots. They counted down the 25 days to Christmas with envelopes full of seeds for gardening. And each day they would open the envelope and plant those seeds. I thought that was just a super idea for giving it away to people who love gardening as a gift. I've just sliced up my halloumi cheese here and I'll cook that up. And I've got some sourdough slices of bread here for another kind of BLT or blat. Look at that wholesome goodness there. And this is how the apple pie turned out. It was just delicious. And our family don't really have desserts very often, so it's a real treat for us. I also made this amazing mango salsa, which I'll definitely make again. We don't know when we're going to run out of time to tell our family and friends that we're thankful for them being in our lives, for the memories they helped create, and the kindness they have shown over the years. We often hold on to the bad memories and sometimes we find it hard to forgive. So what is Christmas all about? Forgiveness, hope, gratitude, giving, remembering, unity, family. I wonder if it's a little bit of all those things. And maybe as you change and your family changes, the meaning of Christmas changes with you. This year I'm going to be letting go of my wish for things to be as they used to be and try to focus more on how they are. This Christmas I'm hopeful for new beginnings and starting new traditions, but I'm also going back to my roots, who I really am and who I want to be.
Puppy, what have you got there? What is it? What is it you've got there? Hey?
This year I will be remembering all the good things people have done for me and all the great memories they've helped me to create, and I will be connected to you and feeling grateful for that as well. Our puppy's found herself a lamb skull to chew on, so she's very pleased with herself. I appreciate you coming along on our journey with us, and I'm excited for things for 2023. So I look forward to chatting to you then.